After watching this video, you will be confident in answering this question in any interview. If you want to cover all the .NET interview questions, then please click on like and subscribe buttons. So let's start. Explain triggers and types of triggers. Triggers, here is the definition. Triggers are stored programs which are automatically executed or fired when some event occurs. So let's try to understand with the help of an example. Suppose you have a table locations that changes frequently. Now you want to know how many times and when these changes are happening in this table locations. In that case, you can create a trigger that will insert the desired data, or you can say the history data, into another table location history whenever any change in the main table will occur. So whenever any change will happen in the locations table, a trigger will be fired which will automatically insert some data in the location history. And you need not to manually write the query to insert the data in the location history table. So that is the role of the trigger. See, here I have written the trigger for the same locations and location history example. See, this is the trigger name, tr underscore update underscore locations. This is the table name here, locations. It is a kind of update trigger, because if there is any update will happen at locations table, then the value will be inserted in the location history table. See, and here is the logic, insert logic we have. So whenever there will be any update in the location table, a trigger will be fired which name is tr underscore update underscore location, and this logic will be executed, and this logic will insert into location history, select location id which is just inserted in the location table, and the date from inserted. So this is the trigger example. Now how many types of trigger are there? So these are the types of triggers. Remember, these DDL, DML and log are category of triggers, but the type of triggers are instead of, after triggers, insert, update, delete, and after triggers are also of insert, update, delete. So this after trigger we just discussed here. So this is the after trigger example. See, after trigger, and it is the update, because we are doing operation when there is any update will happen in the locations table. So if there is any insert will happen in locations table, then the trigger will be insert trigger. If there will be any delete, then that will be delete trigger. So now this is after trigger. Now what is instead of trigger? So in after trigger, update on table executed first and then the trigger will run. So here is the example of instead of trigger. So in case of instead of trigger, if you will try to insert a row into a table, for example the same locations table, so instead of inserting the row in that table, it will not allow, your trigger will not allow the insert into that table, and then it will insert uh, the row in some other table. That is as per your logic. If you don't want to insert into some other table, that is also fine, but instead of means the main insert on locations table will not be allowed. So the definition is, an instead of trigger is a trigger that allows you to skip, it will skip the insert, delete, update statement on a table which is locations here, or a view, and execute other statement defined in the trigger instead. So it will execute this statement whatever written here. So this is instead of trigger. It is the use case is, suppose there is a view which is just for read only purpose, but now someone is trying to execute any insert on it, so then you can create a trigger as a DBA that will skip that insert and trigger will not allow the insert. So that will good for the security. So that is the answer.